Hi, everyone. This is Rochelle Rizzi of Vrai, and I am here with my good friend and colleague, Dr. Sabrina Starling, the Business Psychologist, the international best-selling author of the How to Hire the Best series, and the founder and CEO of Tap the Potential. Dr. Sabrina, welcome.
Thank you, Rochelle. I am honored to be here. The Docuseries interview, to get to do this, we've been talking about it for a long time. So I'm just really eager to dive in with you.
Well, good. And I'm glad to have you here. I mean, as a business psychologist and as a podcaster yourself, you're often on the other side of things, listening to people, driving the storyline in the interviews and digging into other people's lives. So I do hope this is an opportunity that I get a chance to I get to dive in and ask you some really good questions, because I know that you and we have a similar story as far as we're women business owners, we're mothers, we have been through some personal journeys that are similar. And I wanted to really dive into that true north story for you of what made you start Tap the Potential. And as a business psychologist, where does your energy come from as far as what drives you? Because I know the answer, but I want you to talk about your mission.
So what made me start Tap the Potential is that I was burnt out in mental health work, because I am someone who really enjoys seeing people tap their potential. And when I talk with people and I hear them say something that they long to do or express joy about something that they're accomplishing or experiencing, particularly in their professional life, and they're not pursuing it more, or it's just kind of there and it's a dream that they're going to get to someday, I can't leave that alone. There's something in me that just wants to know more and wants to encourage everyone to be out there and to live from their strengths and pursue their greatness. And I believe we all have these gifts inside us that are unique to us. And it really makes me sad when I hear people staying in jobs that make them unhappy because they feel like they need to for the insurance benefits, or because they don't know if they could make it on their own, or they're afraid to take the leap and go to another job that might be a better situation. And so for me, it's always about, what is it that you long to do, that your heart wants? And I just want to encourage people to be out there doing those things. And I know for myself, having been in a job that was really sucking the life out of me, how good it felt to walk away the day that I did. And I went home and I was so excited because I worked a half day. I packed up all my stuff in my car, drove home, and I was like, I get to do whatever I want in my business today. Yay, like first day of real business. And so I went home and I wrote a blog post. And that blog post, ironically, ended up being one of our more popular blog posts. And it was how to say no when it's not so easy. Because there's so many things that we say yes to that keep us from really living who we are and being a gift from our gifts. And so that's why I'm excited about what I do at Tap the Potential.
Well, and it resonates with all the entrepreneurs that you work with. And the Better Business, Better Life program that you've started really takes into account all the things you've been through to save people from themselves.
Yes.
And I know you can talk a little bit more about what brought you to that point, because I know you have some certifications that you've gone through. You've really built this 12-month program that is repeatable and scalable from there for entrepreneurs to have this one-on-one coaching, all the tools at their fingertips, how to build their team, focus on profit, focus on having more money in their bank account than they've ever had before. And I have to say it works because I'm doing it.
Yes, it does work.
It does work.
That's the coolest thing. The tap the potential solution to freeing up your time so you have more time for what matters to you and having more money in your bank account than you've ever had. That's what our Better Business, Better Life program is at Tap the Potential. And Rochelle, I have to tell you, this really feels to me like we've come full circle at Tap the Potential, because when I started out, when I left my job all those years ago, I had gone through coach training and I was certified as a life coach. And I was really looking at how do I repurpose my skills as a psychologist in a more positive direction, rather than addressing mental health problems. I really wanted to help people be their most mentally healthy. And when I started coaching, I was doing life coaching, but I had a lot of business owners connecting with me and they wanted help with work-life balance. And that back then, that was the buzzword. And I was all about, let's work on work-life balance. This sounds really fun. I'm all about that. And I started digging in with them. And the ironic thing was that we weren't getting anywhere when I would work with them on work-life balance, because it's not that they didn't want a more balanced life. They really wanted a more balanced life. It's that their business had taken over their lives. And so what I came to appreciate is I had to dig into the business side of things. And I didn't know anything about business. I was learning in my own business how to be in business. I was learning all the things. I was learning how to market. I was learning about money and how to manage all of that. And then I was trying to coach business owners on business. So I had to learn all this stuff. And what I came to understand from them is that really they needed team members. They needed A-player team members. The reason they were working so hard is they had a lot of just mediocre employees. And I hate to call people warm bodies, but really just people who were showing up for a paycheck. There really was no engagement, no excitement, no enthusiasm, no connection to a bigger picture. And so the business owners couldn't count on them for anything. And, they would call in sick at the drop of a hat. If you sniffle, you call in sick. And so that kept those business owners just working constantly. And so I started looking at how do we help them get better quality team members. And the first place they wanted me to go as a psychologist is, can you coach my team members? Can we work on their engagement and get them more excited? Can you do something with them, Sabrina? And we tried everything. And if there was a way to turn somebody who's just a mediocre warm body employee into an A player, we would have found it, because I was working with A player business owners. I was teaching them coaching skills. They were applying those coaching skills and they were getting like this much improvement, incremental improvement. And so then I shifted my focus to, we need to figure out how to get you A players on your team. And what I kept hearing back is, I can't get A players on my team. We're small business owners. This is how it is. We can't compete with the wages and salaries that corporations offer. I was in Wyoming and a lot of competition was the oil field. So people could just go to work in the oil field and make, buku money at that time. And they would just not show up for work at their current job because they'd gotten an offer in the oil field. And so what I really started looking at is, are there small business owners who have A players on their teams? And if they have them, what did they do to attract them? And that's how I came to write the How to Hire the Best series, is just trying to figure out, is it possible for small business owners to hire A players? And what I've found is absolutely they can. There are simple things that can be done. And that's what became the How to Hire the Best system. But for me, on my side as the author and the entrepreneur, all of this was a journey of, I don't know, but let's go find out. And I think for us entrepreneurs, that's an uncomfortable place to be, to realize there's a problem out there that if it's going to get solved, probably we're going to have to be the ones to do it. And I didn't really want to do it. Because I didn't know if there was a solution. And I thought, what if I put all this time and effort into trying to figure this out and there's no solution? Then what?
Yeah. And what was the answer to that?
It really, I think it just became this feeling of the curiosity. Like I had to go find it. I had to find out. It was an open loop, and I'm not good with open loops. I want to have an answer, and I really wanted to solve the problem. I felt there was one day, it was a Friday afternoon, and I was driving down the road in Wyoming, big wide open spaces, and I was headed out of town. And I had just had one conversation after another with my clients that week, and they were struggling, they were challenged, they were dealing with all of these employee problems, and they were working so hard in their businesses. And the thought went through my mind of just, wow, we need a bumper sticker that says, "Have you hugged a business owner today?" Because oh my gosh. And I don't think the general public really appreciates what us entrepreneurs go through on the personal side of, keeping a business together. On the outside, they see a business that looks like it's successful. Those business owners must be rich, they must have it all together. And on the inside, what it's like to be a business owner is just, sometimes it's this constant, like on the treadmill. I don't know, I've got to piece everything together, make sure everyone gets paid, forgoing our own paychecks from time to time to make sure payroll gets met. It's not a great place to be many days.
Yeah. And, we talked at the beginning about having more money in our bank account than we've ever had before. It's bigger than that, though. When we talk about profit, we're profiting on our time. And the reason we have more money in our bank account is because we're allocating our expenses in a smarter way. We're investing in people who care about the bottom line. They care about the whole team. They care about the purpose of the company they work for. When you have people who are investing on your behalf and because they care, those A players are going to attract more clients, more business, and you have to be ready to grow and respond to that. But if you have the capital yourself, and I'm speaking from experience, and I've shared this on the Docuseries and actually on your podcast too, from experience, there was this pressure to continue to grow and take all the opportunities. And the bank said, well, if you reach this revenue, then we'll give you more capital. Well, if I had reached the revenue and had been profitable, I wouldn't have needed their capital.
Right.
And for a service run business, taking on capital is a huge liability and needs to be thought about very carefully. I did have to invest in computers and hard assets like that for more people to do the work. But looking back, I just think I could have done it a lot better in allocating those funds. And I paid myself last, which is a big no-no. You can't, you always say, like, you've got your sign behind you, veggies first.
It's over here. Veggies first. Absolutely. We have to take care of ourselves as the entrepreneur first before we try to take care of our teams. I want to share something with you that happened yesterday that really epitomizes what you just shared. And it's about having those engaged team members who care, and everyone is working together as a team to make sure the company is profitable. Team members need to work in a profitable business because they have job stability when the business has profit. And so in our Better Business, Better Life program, we have an offering called Leadership Boot Camp. And it's for the business owners, A players on their teams who are leaders in the business. So yesterday in one of the leadership boot camp meetings, a team member in our client's business shared his secret mission that he had been on. And he said, I don't know if this one is really a big deal or not, but it's just something I decided to do this week. And I called our different vendors and I negotiated our terms with them. So I got our payments to them reduced.
Wow.
And I'm like, that's a huge deal. That is a huge deal. So, he's saving that business money. That's a team member who is highly, highly engaged and invested in what's going on. And that's what this is all about, is getting everyone on the team to work together. And it's a team effort to create a business that's profitable and that's life-giving, not just for the entrepreneur, but for everyone on the team coming together around that.
Yeah, and that touches on building a great culture. And when you have a great culture and you have the right people on the bus, you have this innate trust with those leaders and with your team members whom you're trying to lead. But you give them the latitude. You give them the latitude to make those decisions that are to the betterment of the business. And that's so empowering for them to know that they had a win, like they put something in the win column, like I did something and I moved the needle and I took ownership. And there are a lot of great positive I statements that come from that one individual that bleeds into other people wanting to do better. So it all starts with the leader, though, hiring the right people and having the trust. And then I'm sure in your experience, even with A players, you have these owners who have a hard time letting go. So can you talk a little bit about that? Like what's some of the advice that you give those owners to say, it's okay, there's processes in place, you've got the right people. Now, how do they step away? Because I'm leading up to your 4-week vacation, which I know you're super passionate about. And I have seen you do like 4 times now, I think, since I've known you. And I'm always like, wow, I'm always wowed by it.
Yeah. So the 4-week vacation book is coming out in the fall of 2021. That's my passion project. And it's all about business owners being able to step away from the business. We're doing a deep dive studying entrepreneurial burnout. And a big reason for being able to step away from the business is that veggies first, self-care. And when it comes to delegating and letting go for entrepreneurs, the best advice that I can give you is that you're undermining your A players if you don't let go, because it's very demotivating, unmotivating to be an A player and to have someone who just won't hand things to you and won't let you take things off your plate. A players really thrive on greater and greater challenges, and they thrive on taking ownership of rocks and goals and responsibilities. And so if you delegate something and then you tell somebody exactly how to do it and they're an A player, that's no good. So us business owners, one of the things we say is, I'm so busy, I don't have time to teach them how to do this. And really, I'm not suggesting you just toss things off and say, here you go, good luck, go figure it out. That doesn't work either. But understand that it really is going to be a lot less time consuming to teach an A player how to do something, because really all you need to do is paint them a picture of the result that's important and give them, here's what I've done. And if you can figure out a better way to do this, by all means, go after that better way to do it. And usually they will. So being able to let go and doing that more and more, A players get excited about taking on more and more responsibility. So a lot of times the business owners will say to me, I don't want to overwhelm them. So I'm going to be very slow and I'm going to be careful and methodical and take my time with this. There's no such thing as overwhelming an A player. They want more and more responsibility. It does require having an open conversation with them about, if there's too much on your plate, I want to know. I want you to tell me when you hit your max or when you're getting overwhelmed. And then we need to figure out what can come off your plate and help you start delegating. But to be the one who acts like that, it really, this is where we get so unhealthy as business owners. We start acting like parents and like our team members are kids. No. If you want adults to show up, you've got to treat everyone like adults. And so if it's an adult, I'm assuming it is, that you've hired, just giving them the opportunity to tell you, this is my max, or I'm getting overwhelmed, help me figure out. Delegating, that keeps everything moving.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that, because I'm working with you in a different capacity too. So while we're here, and I wanted to document this story and be of service to you, and your other hashtag is be a gift. This was the entire premise of starting the Docuseries, was because I was inspired by Dr. Sabrina to be a gift of my gifts, which is a storyteller. I'm a writer, storyteller. It was a great way to, when COVID hit, to practice my journalism skills and figure out how I could bring out the best in other people to share with other entrepreneurs. In my day job, I do work with Dr. Sabrina in full transparency in helping her with her marketing efforts and wear that CMO hat for her. And I called her this morning and said, I'm really frustrated about something. And I just want you to know that I'm on top of it. This is what's happening. And she responded back and said, I totally trust you. And I know you've got it. And that's all I needed to hear, because as a high performer, I'm always in competition with myself. I want to win, right? I want to do my best. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to step on other people to get there. And so my whole point in saying all of this is that I've noticed in some of our tweets lately, we've had some responses that are quite interesting. We were not expecting it, but people are saying, oh no, I'm not hiring A players. They're going to step on everybody. They're all about themselves. And what they're confusing is the stereotype of a type A personality, which get a bad rep because not all type A people are mean.
Right.
But I just wanted, if you had a moment now to talk about the difference, because I think there's some confusion out there.
Yeah. So I think, just hearing us speak here today, first off, we need to clarify that the psychology of A players is very important to understand. When you are building a team of A players, you have to run your business very differently than when you have a team of just mediocre team members who are not engaged. And if you run your business with A players like you do normal team members who are not engaged, you're going to be really off-putting to those A players. So an A player is someone who is intrinsically motivated. Their motivation comes from within, just like what you're speaking to, Rochelle. You want to do a good job. And it's because of who you are, and you're competitive with yourself. You're always trying to better your best and keep growing. A players want to grow and they seek learning opportunities. They're always wanting to improve themselves. And A players are team players. They want to be their best. They want to contribute to the team. And they actively look for, how do I support my fellow team members? So another conversation that you and I had this morning is, you said, I'm aware that we have a team member who might be struggling, and I want you to know I reached out to them and offered support. That's what we A players do. And so a type A individual, I think when we're seeing those tweets and people are saying you can't have too many A players on your team because they run all over other people, and they can be competitive. That's really getting to that, I want to say, highly masculinized version of an type A personality, somebody who is out for themselves. I think about a salesperson in the organization who's like, I'm going to get as many sales as possible. I'm going to step on your feet. We're all competing on the sales team here, and I'm going to be the top salesperson. And I don't care if I have to, steal sales from you or whatever. That kind of mentality does not work well on a team. And I would absolutely agree. That's toxic to the environment. So A players, a key quality is they are team players, and they are supporting and looking out for each other.
That's really fantastic explanation, because we were shocked to see that come through. We just hadn't thought about how somebody might perceive this. So we have a great opportunity to change the mindset. And these people who are responding are not necessarily small business owners. They're leaders in big corporations. And so while we're focused on talking to entrepreneurs with the How to Hire the Best series, this is really a movement, even you've said, that we've made it when the next tier of the business is also taking a 4-week vacation. Which, by the way, to clarify, it does not mean we're all sitting on a beach for 4 weeks. It could be Dr. Sabrina is a knitter. She might just like to sit there and knit for a little bit and spend time with our families. It's about doing what we love to do in our personal lives and not losing sight of who we are. And I've done that. And I've said, I'm sitting here today because I've done all the wrong things, and I am hell-bent on not doing them again.
Yeah. So, the 4-week vacation is there's a lot into why we talk about 4-week vacation. Number one, you want the business to be able to run through a full business cycle without the business owner being there, and a full business cycle of sales being made, service delivered, cash collected typically happens within a 4-week period of time in most businesses. And the reason we want it to happen without the business owner there is that creates sustainability in the business. With COVID one of the things that I think is all in our minds is what happens if we get sick? Can my business run without me for 4 weeks? What happens if a key team member gets sick? Can operations run without them? So like Rochelle said, it's not just about the business owner being able to take 4 weeks off. Once we get that in place, then we want to start building in the bench and the redundancy in the business so that any individual team member has the opportunity to, one, take vacation for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, however long, and not come back to work piled on their desk or their inbox overflowing because they've been gone. The business needs to operate. Operations need to continue when that person steps out for whatever reason. There needs to be that redundancy there for it to be a sustainable business. So that's a big part of the 4-week vacation. And just like you said, it's also about us taking care of ourselves, the business owner, the team members having that opportunity. None of us is a human doing. We are human beings. We have interests outside of work, and work needs to support our lives. And I firmly believe that when we are doing things away from work and bettering ourselves, like Stacy on our team paints, Darren does leather work, you're a writer. When we have the opportunity to just go off and do those creative endeavors, it makes us better people. It makes us better on the team. I get my best ideas when I am not at my computer at my desk on a Zoom call. The best ideas happen when I'm outside, I'm on the lake, or I'm knitting, or I'm taking a walk. And maybe I haven't worked in a couple of weeks, and then all of a sudden I'll have this bolt from the blue idea. All of us have that ability, and our team members do too. And we need to be tapping into that.
Yeah. And you have a couple of really great tools available right now for entrepreneurs to take. Can you talk to them about that?
Yeah. So one of the best tools that we have is our entrepreneurial burnout assessment. And I would really encourage any entrepreneur to take this, because you'll get a handle not just on your own level of entrepreneurial burnout, but also what areas of your business need to be improved to give you a better quality of life. And you get very specific feedback about that when you take our assessment. You can take that at tapthepotential.com/assessment. And it would also be very helpful to us if you take that assessment, because we are conducting a study of entrepreneurial burnout. I really want to get a handle on, especially with COVID right now, what's the pulse of entrepreneurs and how they're feeling and how they're experiencing life. But as part of the 4-week vacation book, we're trying to do extensive research with that assessment. So it's a win-win. It'll help us and it'll also help you. The other tool that we have is my book, How to Hire the Best, the Entrepreneur's Ultimate Guide to Attracting Top Performing Team Members. This book is the complete how-to, soup to nuts, of how to start hiring those A players on your team. And I'm not bragging, but the feedback that we get from the readers is, this is practical, this is useful. I read it and I got 3 ideas, I've implemented them, and I'm hiring A players. So what I think is really cool about the How to Hire the Best system is you don't have to do it perfectly and get good results. And I cannot tell you the change to an entrepreneur and the experience of owning a business when you bring that first A player on. It's like a whole new world has opened up. It's such an incredible feeling, and it's right there at your fingertips. So I just would encourage you, if you've had bad hiring experiences in the past and you're hesitant, trust me, there's a better way to do it. And I walk you through that in the How to Hire the Best book.
Yeah. And you also have that quiz. It's a very
Yes.
short quiz, howtohirethebest.com/quiz. So I do agree they should take the assessment first, because that's a big global review of your business and identifying those gaps, but specifically that entrepreneurial burnout piece. And then the quiz is a new thing that came out with this book that is just, it's a really quick assessment to see where you can get started with hiring.
Yeah, so it's meant to help you figure out where to start with hiring if you're ready to hire your next A player or your first A player on your team. And then once you take that quiz, you get feedback that's tailored specifically to you and the responses you gave. And we also send you the 3 steps PDF for stress-free hiring. stress-free hiring is the key word, stress-free. And so we really are put everything that we know about how to make the hiring process easier for small business owners is in that PDF. And so it's a tool. You can take the quiz at howtohirethebest.com/quiz.
Thank you. I think that you've given us a lot to think about. I want to thank you for being a gift of your gifts and being with us here today, building the business that is supporting so many, both your clients and your team members. I'm really proud to be a part of Tap the Potential as a team member and on your leadership team. I couldn't be more thrilled to share my daily conversations with some amazing people. I mean, just leading with love and so supportive of you, and we're winning together. You really do walk the walk, and I love the immutable laws that you set out. All of those little buzzwords I just mentioned, like immutable laws, find out more about it here in the How to Hire the Best book, the newest one. It is available on Amazon. I will make sure to share all of the details in the links. Is there anything else you want to say?
I just want to give a huge shout out to you, Rochelle, what you're doing with being a gift from your gifts with this Docuseries. You are a tremendous asset to our team through the book launch. The book launch is Rochelle's rock. So when she holds that book up, that book exists in a print version because of Rochelle. I wrote it, but she got it all to print, and she's done a phenomenal job in helping us get the word out there about the book. And just your heart is in what you're doing to support entrepreneurs, and it shines through in everything that you do. So I just appreciate you and what you're up to here, Rochelle.
Well, thank you. If you want a better business, better life, go to tapthepotential.com. Thank you so much, Dr. Sabrina.
Thank you, Rochelle.